I want to thank everyone for completing the 22-23 Staff Intent and Planning Survey. We have the results now. The intent of this video is to share your feedback and the results from this survey. So currently, about 95% of our staff are planning to return next year. We have some retirements and some individuals leaving Loudoun. I always want to just mention that my goal as your principal is to help you with your career goal. There's lots of opportunities in Loudoun, whether it's a better commute or a promotion. I'm here as your advocate, so if you ever want to have a confidential conversation about different opportunities, please touch base with me. In the survey, there was a question that asked about your classroom location or office location. Most people said that they didn't want to change or it doesn't really matter. So you won't see a whole lot of movement within the building from room locations. There will be some, but nothing really significant. And then there's lots of leadership opportunities from interdisciplinary team leaders to SALT positions, department chairs. Every one of those positions, we've had one or more people express interest. Over the course of the next month, our leadership team will be meeting with all those individuals or communicating through email and locking those in. So all those roles and responsibilities will be shared later into the spring. All right, our school hours, we're backed up 20 minutes, 8:50 to 3:38 next year. Our base contract hours, so for most of our staff, that will be 8:15 to 3:45. And then just based on some supervision and individual preferences, for some of you might have some adjusted hours from 8:30 to 4. Our main office next year will be opened at 8:15 officially and will close at 4:15 Monday to Friday. Morning routine. This looks a little bit different than what we are used to. We are looking to open our library, not just during the winter, but for the entire school year early for students. So we would open the library at 8:15. Our doors will officially open to students at 8:30. This is 20 minutes before the start of the school day. This is what's required by Loudoun County Public Schools. A little different than what we have right now. We open 30 minutes before, so we're going to tighten up on this time. And then based on your overwhelming feedback, we will stick with the centralized locations, 8th grade to the auditorium, 7th to the cafeteria, 6th to the gym. Anyone can eat breakfast. We still don't know from food services what they can or cannot do related to breakfast. So all of that is to be determined. That's not always a school-based decision. Some of that is through food service. And then rather than a 12-minute transition time, we're going to tighten that up to 10 minutes. So at 8:40, we'll have a bell. And between 8:40 and 8:50, our students will go to their lockers and then head off to first or fifth block. All right, based on your feedback, the overwhelming response was to continue with these 5 particular areas. So we will continue to use eHall Pass. There's an exception there in physical education. The students do not take their computers down there, so they have a different system. We'll continue to assign lockers. We'll continue to allow backpacks with some restrictions, the current restrictions we have. This gives teachers some autonomy within their classroom if you're doing, whether it's a science lab or something in particular where backpacks need to stay in the locker. And then we will continue to offer 5 lunch shifts next year, keeping in mind that our bell schedule is backed up by 20 more minutes. So on the front end, that is a little better. Instead of like a 10:30 start, we're looking at a 10:50. A challenge does come from that the 5th shift. 20 minutes later, it's really late in the day to eat lunch. The one change that we will make, though, is the 1st and 2nd shift. We're going to switch. So our 6th grade electives will eat that 1st shift, and then our core classes will eat that 2nd lunch shift. During our 3rd, 7th block, nothing will change with 7th and 8th grade. And just so you know, one of the reasons that we have that 4th lunch shift instead of the 5th is for resource. It just breaks that full block of resource up a little bit for teachers and students that would have resource 3rd or 7th block. Okay, so this was the one question where we were all over the place with our results. So the question is, what type of student agenda? You can see 43% paper, 41% electronic, and then about 15% people didn't really care. This is interesting because a few years ago, when we went from a paper to an electronic, it was almost at that time about 80% that said we need to do electronic. So we're now like back to kind of pre-pandemic. So this is what I would like to do. I would like to provide some choice for our students. So even with adults, like if I were to tell our entire staff, we're all going to keep an agenda and we're all going to use the exact same system, nobody likes that. We want choice, we want independence. So we want to provide that for our kids. So we are looking to purchase a paper agenda for every student. Some students will use it all the time, and I would predict that most of our sixth graders will use that all the time. And then maybe even more into eighth grade, we'll have more kids that would prefer an electronic. So it really is just like we're providing them a free agenda as really an instructional tool to help with organization, because not all kids are organized. I do like a paper agenda because we can put rules and expectations in there, our student handbook. If you were to ask our kids right now about the student handbook, a couple might remember that from back in August or September, but most kids would have no idea that that is even online, and they never even look at it. And then this is kind of an idea, and this was an idea that I received from a couple of our kids. They shared that there's these books out there, Everything You Need to Ace, whatever that course is. And the idea would be to have in our student agenda one page for several different courses that we teach. So not necessarily like a generic math, but we might do one page for everything you need to know about Math 6, everything you need to know about geometry. There would be a couple courses that we might combine, like we might say everything you need to know about computer science and robotics into one page. So I know that this is a heavy ask for teachers to be able to put something like this together. I'll give you more information in the coming weeks about this, but I really truly believe that this is something that our students will love. It will be a resource where they will look at whether it's key terms or just like big ideas, takeaways from your courses. It really is a great resource for our students. All right, our faculty meeting. Again, this is based on an overwhelming response. We are looking at Thursday mornings from 7:45 to 8:15 and approximately 2 times per month. So you're talking an hour every month, not a lot of time. The reason that we chose Thursday is looking at the county calendar. There are several different activities or meetings that are occurring countywide on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and we wanted to stick away from Fridays. So we're looking at Thursdays, 7:45 to 8:15. Communication. So you know that there's always a lot happening in our building, and we want to keep families and staff and students informed, not including emails, s'mores, social media, things that I would send out to the community. We're looking at these weekly routines of continuing to send our weekly bulletins to families. Our deans do that on Fridays. And then Deb, our school-based facilitator, would give us the weekly calendar every Mondays. So again, like based on the overwhelming response, we want to continue with these areas. And this is the big to be determined. So when it comes to advisories and clubs, similar to our student agenda, we were all over the place with our answers to these. This is challenging because right now there's still some uncertainty about some of these topics. So for example, what is the county expectation when it comes to advisory? What do we believe is best for kids with advisory? When it comes to clubs, transportation, we're not sure if activity buses will be available or not. Principals have been told not to plan for activity buses, but you never know. So we are looking at something where we would have some morning opportunities, some after school opportunities for kids, maybe even something during the school day. Later in the year and into the spring, I will set up a couple different principal advisory times where we'll specifically talk about advisory and clubs and what we want to do as a school related to these 2 particular structures. We all know that these are good for kids, but we also want to create a structure that's good for students, and it's also good for staff and having a common schedule. So more information will be coming about advisory and clubs. And then finally, just again, thank you for completing that survey. As always, if you ever want to have a private conversation about your career goals or opportunities, please let me know. And that's it. Have a great day. Hope you enjoyed this video.